We incarnate into this realm as many times as we feel the need to. We decide when we incarnate. A lot goes into our planning when we decide that we're ready to incarnate and have another lifetime here. Now, I do want to touch bases on judgment. Like I said, this is school for us, and we incarnate in order to have experiences that's going to elevate our souls. We decide a lot of the things when we plan, when we put this blueprint together with our spirit guides and our angels. A lot goes into that planning, in which I want to touch bases on that just a little later, to make sure there's so much that goes into it. And so I'll just touch on it briefly. There's no way I can talk about all of this in one video, in which I plan to make other videos talking about those different things. But I wanted to get this out first. There's so much death going on around us, and just dealing with death of my loved ones, and dealing with my loved ones who are experiencing those the death of our loved ones with me. I'm always trying to explain what is going on, what's happening, to try and stop some of the hurt, take some of the scary, some of the void out of it. Not that you're not going to hurt, you're not going to grieve, you're not going to mourn your loved ones. You're mourning the loss of having them physically there with you, but not of them dying, because they don't die. They're even closer to us than they are when they are here, because they're only with us when they're here in physical form, when they're physically right there with us. But once they cross over to the other side, they're with us all the time, watching over us. And I just I felt like it was time for me to get this out and share this. I know there are so many people who already know this, but in comparison to those who don't know it, it's such a big divide. And I am one who's always in my head. Like I said, I'm born on the cusp of Capricorn and Aquarius, and that Aquarius in me tends to make me shy away from people, and stay in my head all of the time. And I know that that's not what I'm supposed to be doing at this point. Maybe when I was searching for so much in terms of knowledge, but I feel like it's time to share this. And so this is the only way I felt like I could get it out to many more people than just the ones that I come in contact with. And so back to what I was talking about, though. We talked about coming over here, and this is a school for us. Now, God is love. God is pure love. God is not vengeful. There's no punishment for us coming to school, which is here, and having experiences and making mistakes. That's just not the way it works. He has a natural system that he's put into place, which is called karma. And it deals with the energy that we put out. The energy that we put out is what we get back. What goes around comes around. And that means if you do something of ill will to someone, the exact same thing that you did to that person is probably not going to come back to you that way. Not saying that it can't, but most times the energy that you put out, that ill will that you intentionally put out by doing something towards someone or to someone in a vindictive and a malicious, purposely hurtful way, that same energy is going to come back to you. And it may not be right away, may not be from that same person, but you will receive that same energy. There's no escaping it. There's no escaping karma. And so that's what God has put in place for us, a natural system. He doesn't judge us based on the mistakes that we make while we're here to learn. And so once we shed these physical bodies and we go back home to the other side where we're familiar with, we have a review of our lifetime that we spent here. We have a review where we see and we feel the interactions that we have with others, that we have had with others, whether it was making someone feel good or making someone feel bad. We actually experience that, the feelings that we gave others in our interactions. So if you made someone feel really good, then when you review that, you'll feel that. But if you made someone feel horrible, whether you meant to or not, you're going to experience that in your review. You're going to know, you're going to feel what you made that person feel like. And so it's a life review so that nothing is in vain. But when I say there will be no judgment, I mean there will be no judgment from God, from others. You will be your judge because you will feel every hurt, every pain, every joy that you inflicted on another person during your interaction with them. And I also wanted to touch on okay, I'd already talked about that. I was talking about how time moves on the other side, and really there's no such thing as time. Everything is like it's overlapping. Everything is overlapping. There is no time such as linear time. It's like a loop. Everything is on top of one another. There's no linear time. Now, the veil between this realm and home is getting thinner and thinner from my understanding, from what I understand. It's getting thinner and thinner. And eventually there will be more awakenings and things are going to change in time. Now, I also want to touch bases on the higher self. Now, when we come over here, this is not the full me. I am just a part of my higher self. My higher self is still on the other side, just as your higher selves are still on the other side. We all remain on the other side. But when we decide to have a lifetime, we take a part of ourselves to send over into this realm to experience this other lifetime and to inhabit a human body. And when we cross back over and we go back home, we reintegrate, we rejoin our higher selves. Now, I want to talk about some of the things that goes into the planning of our lifetimes when we come over here. There's so many things. It's almost like, it will blow your mind. But I'm sure there's so many more things that I'm not even aware of. I'm still learning. I enjoy learning and seeking the knowledge of truth. But when we plan our lifetimes, there's so many things that go into it, such as numerology. Numerology is a big thing that goes into planning our lifetimes. And I've never been a big number person, but once I discovered numerology, I see numbers in a whole new light. I mean, a totally new light. I understand that numbers carry vibrations. Numbers are vibrations. Just as we are energy and we vibrate at a certain frequency, numbers vibrate at their own frequency as well. And when I was first introduced to numerology, it was, I had a numerology reading done on me. It was actually online. And once I found out my most important number, which was my life path number, and I read up on that number. My life path number is a number 7. I read up on life path number 7s, and it blew me away. It actually brought me to tears, guys. I can't even explain to you what it did to me. But if you ever get the opportunity to figure out what your life path number is, I would definitely encourage you to do that. If this is all new to you, that may be the very first step that you take that introduces you to all of this, that make you believe that there is more. And I can tell you, your life path number comes from adding up the numbers in your birth date. You add up your month, the date that you were born, the year that you were born, and you simplify it all into one single number. Once you add it all up, if you come up with a 16, then you add those last two numbers up, and that would be a 7. And then you can simply Google life path number 7. And oh my gosh, when I tell you, it had me in tears. I can't even explain it to you. But that's just the first step. But all numbers carry vibrations. And so it is the vibration that has an influence on your life during this lifetime. But there's so many other numbers that fall into that under numerology. You have your life path number, which is the most important. You have your expression number. You have your destiny number, your soul urge number, and you'll have one of those numbers that'll show you. It'll talk about the you that you show others on the outside, and then you have a number that will describe who you are on the inside. You'll have a number showing your personality. You'll have a number showing what your urges are, what makes you happy, what satisfies you. This will blow your mind. Not only that, you have something called pinnacles, where we all have 4 pinnacles in a lifetime. And it goes from a certain age up to a certain age of your life. And then you will go into the next stage. And it depends on how long you live out one pinnacle is dependent upon what your life path number is. And so my first pinnacle may go from birth till age 26. And then I'll go into my second pinnacle and my third pinnacle and my fourth pinnacle. But each pinnacle has a number, and each number carries a vibration. And that vibration will actually tell you what energy influence is over your life during those particular years of your life. It's a whole science within itself, just dealing with numbers and their vibrations. And this wasn't just from somebody telling me, this was from experience, from me reading it, doing research on it. These are my experiences. And you'll find that with your pentacles that they actually overlap. You have your first pentacle and it may be a 3 where you're just kind of different. You're a different type of kid, where you don't seem to actually fit in with what is expected of a child. You could have a pentacle of 6 where you were more of a nurturer during that time. But what happens is you don't move from the vibration of a 3 and then to the vibration of a 6. Yeah, you change those pentacle numbers, but what I found is that they build on top of one another. Whatever that vibration was during that first pentacle, when you transition over into the second pentacle, the energy of the vibration of that second number will start to take place, but you don't lose what you gained from the first or the prior pentacle. Anyways, that's a whole nother video. And if you want to look into it, feel free to look into it. I urge you to look into it. The first thing being the life path number. And also one of the things that takes an effect or is looked upon when you are planning your lifetime here, you deal with your numbers, which has to do with your birth date. So you plan the time that you enter into this realm, which also puts you under a certain influence under the stars. What stars were in what position when you incarnated into this realm, which takes you back to astrology. Your sun sign, your moon sign, your rising sign, all of that stuff. That's why no two people are exactly alike, because there's so much that goes into making you who you are. There's just no way for two people to be exactly alike. And then you take into account your parents. You take into account your traits, your genes, the genetic pool that you come from. And so therefore, we choose our parents as well for those reasons. For traits, personality traits, all type of traits, physical traits. We choose our parents. We also choose our parents for environments or situations that we need to be in that's going to produce certain environments that we need according to our plan, so that we can experience the things that we need to experience during this lifetime. There's so much that goes into our planning before we come into a lifetime so that we can have certain experiences. Now, how we experience those things, total free will. That's part of your learning. That is what's going to elevate your spirit. There's so much that goes into that. But that just lets you know that we have these lifetimes, and then this is not the end, because it's school. Who goes to school and then it's totally over? You go to school for a reason, to obtain things so that you can take it and use it. You're using these experiences to elevate your soul. This is not the end. You're just leaving school. You transition from one form to another. We are pure energy. Our hearts are the energy centers. The heart is what connects the soul to the body. This is our energy center. But we have several other energy centers in our bodies, and they're called chakras. Many people are aware of chakras, and they're into chakras, with energy healing and all of that. with Reiki, and I'm also Reiki practitioner. But we have different energy centers in our bodies, and they correlate with different colors. And you can meditate on those colors and those energy centers. And all those energy centers deal with different parts of you, of your being. You have your crown chakra, your third eye chakra. You have your throat chakra. You have your heart chakra, your your solar plexus chakra, your sacral chakra, and you have a root chakra. They all have colors with them, and you can meditate on them. Just as the throat chakra states, the throat, it deals with expression and other things. There's so much that goes into having this human experience that's not physical, which goes back again to death is not scary. Death is not the end. We're only crossing over we're leaving these physical bodies because we can't take them with us into the spiritual realm, back home, where everything is familiar with us, where everyone we know and love who's no longer here resides on the other side. And so hopefully this video has helped a lot of people who don't understand death, who has anxiety about it, who's afraid of death, who has experienced it with a loved one and they don't know where their loved one went. They're worried about them. They're afraid. They're afraid of crossing over. Hopefully this video reached someone, touched someone, enlightened someone. And there will be more videos to come. As I said, I am a student and a teacher of all things metaphysical. I am connected to God, to Source, to the divine. I believe that God is pure love, and I am trying to give back to humanity. I am trying to do my part. Thank you. If you watched the video all the way through, subscribe if you want to see more videos on these things. Also, I will be putting my website in the description link for anyone who needs the services that I provide as a death doula. And just make sure you subscribe. And if you like this video, make sure you hit the like button. And I intend to do some live Q&As so that I can answer any questions you may have, or I'm going to do my best to try and answer any questions that you have. By all means, I don't know everything, but I'll explain the things that I do know. Thank you so much, and I'll see you guys later, and God bless.